Good morning, I'm Gerard. I'm an English teacher and a Cambridge invigilator. I'm not gonna delve deep into very specific details, it's just only to show you and to present you a little bit all the writings, all the possible writings we're gonna be finding in our Cambridge exams. So let's begin. Okay, first of all, as you may know, we have a mandatory part that's an essay, B2 is C1, and then we've got some ones that we can choose, like optionals. Okay, we have three, four options that we have to choose among them. Well, you always ask me the same question, teacher, what would you recommend me in the second part? Well, in terms of B2 for schools, I always recommend a story. A story because you get the first sentence and it's not really difficult to come up with several ideas. That's why I always advocate for stories there. However, if you're in C1 level, I would really advocate for any formal one. I mean, the report is the most appropriate because you really get used to formal writing. So, at least in my case and in my students, I always recommend them reports because we always push a lot the formal writing. So that's why. But if you're a good informal writer too, you can choose an email, an informal email, something like that. So, first of all, whenever we get the task, people, the first thing we have to do is to read carefully the question and the tasks and underline how many questions do we have to answer in that general question. Okay, that's very important. More things, the target reader. We have first to identify if we need to write in a formal, informal, or semi formal way. That's why I always try to encourage my students to spend 5 minutes reading, identifying the questions, and then planning your writing. Please, I'm gonna make another video another day about planning writings. It is essential, it is a game changer. So we're gonna go to this, okay? We're gonna start essays, okay? The introduction has always been a nightmare for all Cambridge students. I always recommend and advise to provide background. I mean, if you're referring to pollution, okay, ask yourself why. Okay, why are we polluting, or what's pollution? Okay, these two questions helps to provide a good background and a good information. Then, as you may have done your scheme, your plan, or whatever, you will divide the following paragraphs into three. Okay, you're gonna have to answer question one, question two, and question three. Okay, paragraphs important. Develop your answers. Just if you mention something, just explain yourself. Okay, build a consistent argument. That's crucial, people. You have to explain and also connect. Please use connectors, linking words, whatever comes to your head to have a good and structured writing. Remember that the criteria of organization, it's directly referred to connectors, how the text flows, and stuff like that. And at the end, the conclusion. Please, if you want, you can summarize the key points, and at the end, you can give a final thought and position. Please position towards your idea. I mean, give your opinion there. Where do we stand for? In a conclusion, you have to give your opinion. What's your opinion about that? What do you think? Anything that clearly states your opinion, and so you get like a position. Then, people, general aspects. Wide range of vocabulary. Use wide range of vocabulary, synonyms, use thesaurus. Please avoid repetition. Then, formal tone always in essays. Please learn how to write formal. Use connectors, as I've said before, linking words, and learn some complex grammar. Inversions, cleft sentences, conditional, something like that, that can elevate your writing to a certain level. Okay, now let's move on to the letter. That's tasks number two. We have both formal or informal. Okay, both follow the same instructions, but you have to take into consideration that the prompts are different. Okay, the words we have to use are different. So in a formal salutation, we use dear or to him or to whom may concern. Opening paragraph, we have to answer or ask. Okay, write the purpose, what you're writing. No, then in the body paragraph, sorry, you have to provide details. I mean, you have to answer the questions you have been asked to answer, and then give appropriate explanations. By the end of the closing paragraph, summarize or state your desired action. Maybe you want this person to write you back, or you have to do something. I don't know. Just put it there at the end. And then closing, a good one is yours sincerely. It works and it's formal. And at the end, your name. Okay. General aspects. Formal writing, formal tone, therefore complex grammar, complex structures, inversions. Now, one that pops up to my mind is should you require further information, please do not hesitate asking. So, using this inverted conditional here, it works like amazingly well. Then use sophisticated vocabulary, try to be as formal as possible, okay, and be polite and keep a professional tone. Cannot say anything else. Now, informal salutation, hi or hello, and then the name, opening paragraph, like a casual greeting, or why are you writing? No reason for writing. Body paragraphs, details, explanations, the same. Answer the questions you've been asked to. And then closing paragraph, the same as the formal one, and closing best wishes. That's a good one. You have to keep it informal, so do not abuse of really complex structures or sentences, so keep it simple most of the time. You can use contractions, phrasal verbs, idioms, okay? And the tone should be relaxed and friendly. State a title. You have to write a title in a review, people, so please write a title. Well, people, let's now check the review. Okay, about the review. Imagine that this is a review about the film, okay? First of all, a title. We have to write a title referring to our review, okay? And the most important part is the introduction. We have to hook the audience. That's crucial. It's gonna determine the mark of your review, basically. Then also state your brave impression. That's crucial, okay? Just the overall experience. How did you feel, if you liked it or not? Something like that, okay? Then the body, that will depend a lot on the different questions that you had previously underlined. And body, let's put an example, okay? You have to analyze acting, discuss style, directing, examine plot or themes. These are different things you can do and you may be asked to do, okay? Then about the conclusion, you have to summarize the key points, give final verdict, okay, if you like it or not, and recommend it or not. Please do know that everything on the review will be depending on the questions, okay? You can be asked about, I don't know, a book that there was a plot twist, that the actor or actress did like a sudden turn, something like that, okay? And the end, the most important one and the one that will benefit you the most is descriptive language. It's a review. They expect a lot of adjectives, okay? There are plenty of adjectives, plenty of websites that you can find whatever you want. Then, if you engage the reader all the time, your communicative achievements will be high, your mark there, okay? And then be concise and clear. Do not spoil, okay? Do not spoil. Important. Then, story, that's only for the first certificate for schools, okay? That's, as I told you before, for me, it's the easiest one, so you don't have to be really imaginative. Yes, at some point, but you can invent most of the things. First, at the beginning, I would introduce the characters. Then, important, explain the initial situation, okay? What's happening there, what's going on, and then, well, there's going to be a main event you have to take into consideration and then keep developing. In the middle, the body, plot development, okay? There's a problem or a challenge that needs to be solved, and if you can create this tension or interest, that would be incredible. But I don't know if in 140, 180 words you will be able to do so. But let's give it a go. And at the end, there's a conflict that needs to be solved. Please write a satisfying conclusion that will help the reader to understand the final part and tie back to the beginning if possible, okay? Then, general aspects. The best advice and I can give you is show, don't tell, okay? It means that give a different perspective here, a perspective of the story. If you're not a master of past tenses, forget about it. So past tenses must be really well understood in order to get like a good story, because you know that it has to be in past. But then, for example, if you do a dialogue, it's going to be impressive because it's happening at the moment, so it's important. Okay, then needs to be engaging and mostly informal. Now let's move on to the tough part. Okay, let's go for the report. You need a concise title. Okay, then, first of all, you have to write your headline of purpose or introduction. Maybe introduction is a bit better, but in the introduction, you have to explain the purpose. Basically, what I do here, and I always recommend, is to read the questions. And whenever you have read the questions and the task, say, okay, I have to do a description and an evaluation. So, the purpose of this report or the aim of this report is to describe and evaluate the key points of the wildlife park named Tal. Okay, just what you're gonna do. Then, then divide the next topics, the next questions. So you will have to divide these. Important. You need subheadings in a report. If not, it's not a report. Remember that. Give detailed explanation. If you can be supported by evidence, much better. Okay, even if it's fake evidence. Okay, you can invent. Scientists conducted an investigation about and 70%. Okay, and then, as I said before, break them down into pieces. Then recommendations. If they ask you to recommend anything, where I would identify the weaknesses previously explained here and offer solutions for these weaknesses. Okay, normally reports are done to evaluate something. Okay, you can evaluate, for example, a wildlife park or the security of a city. So if there's not enough security cameras, so provide solutions. Okay, now, general aspects, subheadings, people, very important. Subheadings, subtítulos, be formal and factual. Providing evidence every now and then is a very good option. And then offer an unbiased perspective, okay? Be 100% objective here. Now, let's move on to the last one, the article. We need a very catchy introduction. Articles are usually written in informal or semi-formal, always depending on the target reader. Okay, something I really recommend to do during the introduction is writing rhetorical questions. They are incredibly useful. They engage the reader. They help the reader to follow, the path of your email of your article. Sorry, and then you clearly state the topic. Okay, what's going to be about. The body, only develop the main points. Keep it informal. Keep it connected to. Okay, and to conclude, summarize what you've done more or less and give a final thought. Okay, what's your opinion? And then general aspects. There are only two, okay, there are a lot, but for me, the most important ones to fulfill the tasks and the requirements are these two, and keep it engaging, okay, and write in a bit interesting style. Okay, so this mind map, you can download it if you want. I will leave it here on the description of the video. And that's it, people. I hope you liked it. Remember to follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. It's the same nickname, Teacher Gerard. Okay, please, I will tie back a little bit. I would like you to, first of all, when you have the task, read the questions, work on the task, and then plan everything. Okay, that's crucial. Okay, people, so I hope you liked the video and see you soon. Bye bye.